Dwellers in Darkness, Chapter 9. The dark depths below the city of Mata Nui were a place of death, Toa Hagah had warned. She had been right, at least for the Paraka named Zaktan, who had just been killed by Makuta Teridax. That was bad enough. Worse was that it was impossible to tell just where Teridax was, as his voice came from everywhere. But of his body, there was no sign. A formidable amount of power was arrayed against him in this chamber. Toa Hagah, leader of the Order of Mata Nui, Kitongu, powerful Rahi beast, the 6 Toa Hagah, Makuta Teridax, Axon and Brutaka, agents of the Order. Of them all, Brutaka was the strangest, glowing green as he was, and floating several inches off the floor. Even with his Kanoi mask shattered by Teridax, he seemed frighteningly powerful.
"Show yourself, you traitorous vermin!"
bellowed Makuta Teridax.
"Let us settle once and for all who rules the Brotherhood!"
There came the sound of soft laughter from every corner of the room.
The Brotherhood? There is no more Brotherhood, Teridax. In a very short time, the Makuta of Mata Nui will be dead. Makuta Teridax has died already, as have Spiria and others. The Order of Mata Nui has been most helpful in that regard.
And you seem unconcerned that your allies are perishing, said Helrix. Why?
I have no allies,
Teridax replied.
For I have no equals.
A hum rose in the room, growing louder and louder until it drowned out all thought. All that existed was that head-splitting sound, which drove even Axon to his knees. Only Brutaka stood. He lashed out with a bolt of power from his sword, shouting,
"Enough!"
The energy struck the machinery on the far wall, and the sound stopped. Teridax laughed.
A mere sample of what is to come.
I know all that you have forgotten,
Brutaka said.
I know that you put millions of lives at risk with your foolish grab at power. This is not what you were meant to do. This is not why you were created.
He's in the machines,
Teridax muttered.
Of course. So if we destroy the machines...
The exiled Makuta hurled a bolt of gravitic power at the banks of machinery. Where it struck, metal began to crumple, folding in on itself as its gravity increased 100 times. But it was not Teridax who struck back at him. It was Brutaka. A blow from his sword sent Teridax sprawling.
No, you do not understand,
shouted Brutaka.
Then enlighten him,
said Teridax.
please.
Brutaka nodded.
We stand in as close to the mind of Mata Nui as it is possible to be. If we destroy this place, we destroy that mind, and doom the universe.
I don't understand, said Toa Hagah. If this is Mata Nui's mind, where is his body? Brutaka gestured broadly, indicating everything around him.
It is our universe, Toa. We live inside the Great Spirit. But now Teridax has taken root in that body and controls it. Controls all. As soon as the Toa Nuva awaken the body, Teridax will be unleashed to rain darkness on all who live.
How do we stop him? Said Toa Hagah.
I will show you how!
Teridax roared. He reared back and hurled attack after attack at the machinery, the chamber walls, the ceiling, doing untold damage. Axon, the Toa, and Kitongu tried to stop him, only to be battered aside.
Let us all die,
Miserix continued.
Let the universe burn! I only want Teridax dead! How one-dimensional of you,
Teridax replied. Before the horrified eyes of the party, Miserix's body began to change. It wavered, grew blurry, the colours seeming to run into each other. There was an explosive release of energy, blinding in its intensity. When the heroes could see again, a picture of Miserix existed on the wall of the chamber, but he himself was gone. Or was he?
He makes a very unique decoration, does he not?
Said Teridax.
We'll fight you, said Toa. We'll find some way.
You were the first Toa to do so,
said Teridax.
No doubt you would find a way. Maybe even a way to win, if I allowed it.
A wave of mental energy struck the 6 Toa Hagah, but did not seem to harm them. In fact, they seemed quite energized by it, even happy. They turned as a team and headed back out of the chamber, laughing and talking with each other as if this were the best day of their lives. Helrix watched them go, shocked. What did you do to them?
Call it mercy,
said Teridax.
In their minds, the battle is over, and the forces of good have won. They remember seeing me defeated at their hands, and in the reality they will perceive from now on, there is no Teridax, no rule by Makuta, no Toa and Matoran in peril. All they will see will be peace and happiness wherever they look.
That's monstrous, said Axon. Toying with their minds? Were you afraid to face them in battle? Teridax ignored him.
Unfortunately, I cannot do the same to Axon, or Brutaka, or you, Helrix. Your minds are too well shielded. Given time, I could break those shields. But why waste the energy? And as for Kitongu, I am on the verge of becoming a great spirit. I have no time for pets.
You are tampering with fate,
Brutaka warned.
and you will be punished.
But not by you, and not today,
Teridax replied. Brutaka winked out of existence, followed by Axon, then Kitongu. Only Helrix remained.
Do not worry, they are not dead,
said Teridax.
Merely teleported to the southern edge of this universe, to land so dangerous even Makuta never dared to travel to them. You will see them again, I am sure, if they survive.
And what of me? Said Helrix. Will you banish me too?
No,
said Teridax.
You see, Mata Nui's greatest failing is that he had no one to share his thoughts with. No one with whom he could communicate. He did not have a friend, for want of a better term. I will not make that mistake. You will remain here, Helrix, where all your needs will be met. And you will share in the brilliant darkness that is my mind. My plans, my dreams, my hopes, I will share with you, for at least as long as your sanity remains intact.
Anyone else would have been filled with dread at Teridax's words. But not Helrix. She saw an opportunity. She would be alive. Her memories would be her own, and she would be in the center of Teridax's thoughts. Right then, she made a vow. She would not break. She would not crumble before the weight of his darkness. No matter what, she would defy him, and somehow find a way to help others do the same. "This isn't over," she said quietly. "You know that, don't you, Teridax? No matter what your power, no matter what you can do to us all, this isn't over."
Of course it isn't,
Teridax answered.
How boring it would be if it was.
This marks the end of Dwellers in Darkness, but the story continues in Reign of Shadows coming soon.